Yeah, I've been busy writing my new book, and so I haven't been doing as many of these updates as I'd like to, but don't worry, I'm back. I wanted to record a quick video today on how to survive a Bitcoin bear market. A bear market is defined as a 20% correction in a security or asset or commodity for a period of about 2 to 3 months. So we hit a peak in Bitcoin of approximately $69,000 in November of 2021, and now we are recording this in April 2022. That's about 6 months, and the price of Bitcoin is about $40,000. Now, I know a lot of you care about price, so we're going to be discussing how to survive a Bitcoin bear market. Now, I've got a lot of new subscribers to the channel. I give these updates from a gym, more casual. I want you to hold me accountable to working out, and then I head upstairs to my office. I'm going to be doing some more professional broadcasts from the studio to get back to basics and give you the content you need to survive many of what I call the most interesting and exciting time to be alive in financial history. But for some people, it's a disaster. For others, it's a great time. And I want to make sure that more of you are on the right side of this change. I've had a lot of new subscribers. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Simon Dixon. I spent the last 2 decades working on monetary reform and investing in the future of finance. I spoke, that led to me speaking at the very first Bitcoin conference in 2011 and writing the book, Bang to the Future, Protect Your Future Before Governments Go Bust, which was the first published book in the world to include Bitcoin. I co-founded banktothefuture.com, which ended up pulling together many people's investments and created tens of thousands incredibly wealthy investors from Bitcoin, and also companies like Kraken, Coinbase, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, blockchain.com, Circle, who all became multi-billion-dollar unicorns after receiving some funding from the company I co-founded, banktothefuture.com, and you as investors. So let's get straight into the content. So surviving a Bitcoin bear market. Now, firstly, if you're not familiar with my philosophy and my views, Bitcoin bear markets are the best time to be alive and investing in the sector. It's depressing for those that don't know what they're doing. It's awesome for those that have a longer term view and understand the perspective and have built congruency around the impact that Bitcoin have by introducing digital hard sound money into the world, giving you the ability to own your own money, spend your own money, and benefit from a fixed supply that is independent of geopolitics and cannot be changed by any central bank or any government, any developer, any one out there. The supply is fixed. So when I think about Bitcoin and Bitcoin adoption, I've seen it go through 3 cycles. Originally, it was the individuals. Then it was the companies, and then it moved into the countries. And it wasn't a smooth thing. We had many countries. For example, the first country to want to be involved in supporting Bitcoin was the Isle of Man in 2014. But it was only until 2021 that you had El Salvador make Bitcoin legal tender. So let's go back to the individual, the company, and the country. Now, Bitcoin bear markets are awesome for individuals for a couple of reasons. The first is that there's less noise. When there's less noise, you get to consume content like this from people. I don't want to toot my own horn, but there's not a part of Bitcoin and the crypto sector that I haven't seen, having been there right from the beginning. So when I share my content, I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody that has achieved all of my wealth by investing in the sector, way more than I could ever imagine. I was deep in debt before starting, trying to create a bank, and having supported over 150,000 investors, creating the largest community of investors investing in this sector right from the beginning. From the foundations of Bitcoin to the foundations of Ethereum to all of the companies in between, and all of the different booms and busts and cycles that we've seen in between. And those that have become incredibly wealthy, and I'm talking billionaires, were those that had a longer term perspective and got back to basics. And so the great thing about Bitcoin bear markets is those YouTubers that were just pumping leverage trading and wrecking all of their subscribers, that were looking for the next big shiny object and the next Bitcoin killer and then the next Dogecoin killer or Shiba Inu or all of these different things. They all get wrecked. They lose their money. They overtrade. They speculate. They create tax liabilities. And the YouTube influencer that was pushing what they were being paid to push disappears during the bear market. And you just get the real community of hardcore people that are having the time of their life because they get to accumulate Bitcoin at cheaper rates the longer the bear market lasts. So if you're living by a few of my mantras, the mantra that I used in order to take myself from $150,000 deep in debt, in fact, if it included my mortgage, which was about $200,000, $350,000 deep in debt, to achieving more financially than I could ever imagine possible, was because each month I set myself a goal that I would have more Bitcoin each month than I did the previous month. I measured my wealth in Bitcoin, not in the dollars that it was. So during the crashes, my dollars or my pounds or my euros or my yen or my renminbi would buy me more Bitcoin. And so it's a big shift in thinking. And that is what has worked for many of the wealthy investors at Bank to the Future. So, two things for the individual. It cuts out the noise. And secondly, it allows you to accumulate Bitcoin at a cheaper rate. The second thing is at the companies. So I've invested in over 100 companies in the industry. I mentioned some of them earlier. And what I have found is that during bull markets, venture capitalists are investing, millions, tens of millions, sometimes hundreds of millions in companies in our industry. And I have found the best entrepreneurs that have created the best deals, that have created the multi-billion-dollar companies, were the ones that survived the struggles and knew how to build their business with very little money. When you shower excesses upon new developers and entrepreneurs, you get undisciplined and those that don't understand how to get through the struggle. It's a bit like the individual that wins the lottery that ends up in the same financial position 3 to 5 years later. That happens to 80% of national lottery winners because they didn't make it through figuring out how to make it. It's a bit like, there's the wealthy son or daughter that inherits a fortune and does not know what to do with it and ends up depressed and doesn't feel the meaning or the world and know how to take over the business or whatever it is that they inherited simply because they didn't make the money through the struggle. It's a bit like the person in a country that has received excessive foreign aid and never got the opportunity to instead have a micro loan, build their business and build and get the pleasure of building their way out of financial hardship into the skills that you learn from that. And so during the bull markets, you get these very, very bloated companies that excessively spend and have not built the entrepreneurial muscle that's required in order to build a great company throughout the bear markets and bad times. And we've seen this time and time again. It also gets rid of all of the useless companies that were here just for the quick money, that fired up a quick business plan, created a smart contract, ended up getting hacked, and these ones don't survive the bear market. So you get rid of a lot of those noises, more of the scammers disappear, more of the people that were not here to survive the hard times. An Elon Musk that got through the hardest times and then ended up becoming the richest man in the world or the most valuable company in the world, to now where he's buying Twitter to allow Trump back onto and probably shift the 2024 election, which I believe Donald Trump will be used as the fall guy for the fall of the US empire. If you did not watch my last video, check out my video on investing during the fall of the US empire. A bit more speculative there, and I digress. Okay, so companies on the individual level, you get to buy Bitcoin cheaper. And you get rid of all of the people that are trying to give you bad habits and leverage and trade and get into all the shit, and those YouTube influence disappears. For the company level, you get companies that are building the muscle during the bear market, and the ones that are never meant to be here disappear because they can't survive it through the bear market. At the country level, you get the opportunity, and for example, at banktothefuture.com, we had to spend the last 6 months rebuilding our technology in order to comply with new regulations. We used the opportunity to double the size of our team and adjust much of the technology ready to serve much of the demand that has been built up. We're going to be actually, if you're around tomorrow, check out the Bank to the Future YouTube channel. Just put Bank to the Future in YouTube and you'll find a channel called bnktothefuture.com. Tomorrow, I'm going to be going live to answer as many of your questions on back to basics, investing in the sector, investing in the industry. Subscribe to that channel, and I'm also going to be doing an AMA. I give these updates quickly. I don't have time to do questions. I got to get on with work. But I'm going to take some time to answer all of your questions. So subscribe to that channel, hit the bell symbol, hit all, and I can come and I'll see you tomorrow on that to answer as many questions as I can and get back to basics and guide you on that. So we spent all that time. Now that only normally happens during these corrective markets, because during the bull market, our team is overstretched. We're onboarding as many investors as possible. We're taking on help supporting our clients. We have thousands of corporate actions happening. It gets absolutely manic. Our team stretched to the limit. But now we get to build for the next market. So for us, it's like a big breath of fresh air. Having that quieter time in order to build for the busier time. So the cycles really help. At the country level as well, it buys you opportunity to build your Bitcoin strategy for your country without the noise of all the other countries that are jumping on the bandwagon, doing the fake announcement saying, yeah, we're allowing you to pay your tax in Bitcoin. Don't worry, it's cool. You can allow people to pay their tax in Bitcoin. All the country adoption will support you. Most people don't like to pay their tax in Bitcoin because they like to, do it in fiat currency. It all is the essence of supporting and country level adoption. But it allows you the time to study the countries that are being more aggressive, like El Salvador, understand how to make Bitcoin legal tender, the impact it can have, understand how to rebuild your capital markets using things like Bitcoin-based bonds and various other technology. But it allows you to catch up in a time so that when the bull market comes, you're completely ready for all of the jobs, all of the opportunities, all of the companies, all of the high net worth individuals, all of the people, all of the population in your country being able to be financially included, and all of the opportunity comes to you during the bull market. But those that are building it during the bull market have a very, very big struggle trying to catch up. So use the bear market as that opportunity to really build, really think through, you can catch up, as it were. Also, you get rid of all the shitty companies and the shitty scammers that may have been using your jurisdiction, because the bear market shakes out the companies and shakes out the individuals that may have just been here for the short-term opportunity of trying to get rich quick. So, in summary, bear markets are awesome for individuals, for you. Bear markets are awesome for companies, and bear markets are awesome for countries. So you should be very, very excited about Bitcoin bear markets. If you are not, if you are suffering a high level of anxiety, it's probably because you were thinking of Bitcoin as a way to make more money so that you could meet your living expenses, which is the exact opposite of what you should do in order to survive a bear market, build and protect your wealth in the bull markets. And that brings me to the final part of this video that I talked about in there. I'm going to be giving a video where I get to answer as many of your questions as possible on the Bank to the Future YouTube channel tomorrow on getting back to basics and how to invest in this sector and in this industry, exactly how I did it, which transformed my finances from, as I said, $350,000 in debt if you include the mortgage. I think it was more than that, sorry, that was £200,000, $150,000, approximately $400,000 in debt. I really should do those maths. I actually did a whole cash flow and balance sheet to actually develop that plan when I came up with the strategy, invested in Bitcoin at $3, and made a commitment to have more Bitcoin each month than I had the previous month, and develop a plan. I'd love to share more about that so that you can understand how to take advantage of the incredible opportunity of the 6 months in the Bitcoin bear market that we have been into, and the cycles that we have seen, that I've seen time and time again. I can't give you financial advice, I can't give you tax advice, I can't give you legal advice, but I can share what I do and the things that I do so that you can see if that gives you some ideas that you can then probably go to either remove the need for the financial advisor, develop your own plan, and that's what these videos are all about. So I hope you enjoyed this little back to basics. I'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. I give updates after my workouts. I'll make sure that you stay on the right side of financial history by sharing information in real time. And we can have more professional videos where I share more professional content on slides and answer your questions on the Bank to the Future YouTube channel dedicated around investing, building and protecting your wealth in this sector. So always remember, no matter how bad it gets, you are alive at one of the most interesting and exciting times in financial history. Some are going to get really hurt by this ginormous wealth redistribution that's happening. Others are going to do incredibly well. We've got to figure out how to survive inflation, deflation, economic growth, economic decline, wars, pandemics, financial crisis, bank failures, and this channel, if you subscribe to it, hit the bell symbol, hit all, will keep you on the right side or give you at least the information to stay on the right side of financial history. If you enjoyed this content, please do share it, please do retweet, please do share it with those that you think would be beneficial from it. And shout out to me on Twitter and let me know what questions you would like me to answer in the broadcast on the Bank to the Future YouTube channel tomorrow. We're doing this all with peace, we're doing this with love, we're doing it with unity, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.